Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining me today. I thought I would take a moment and introduce this video. I did an interview with Lisa Ross of Paper Daisy Creations a few weeks ago, and her new shawl pattern, Lucky Break, is coming out this week. Might be already out by the time I post this. So I thought I'd give you an opportunity to get to know her a little bit better as a designer, and a creative mind in our industry. She's amazing. So give this a watch. If you love it, subscribe, give us a thumbs up, leave a comment below. I'd love that. Thank you so much and enjoy the interview. Hi everyone, my name is Lauren. I am the Lolo behind Lolodidit, a hand-dyed yarn business in Central Kentucky. And I'm here with Lisa Ross of Paper Daisy Creations. She is one of my all-time favorite designers, and we do work together a lot, a lot. And you see her kits on my shop all the time. And I wanted to take some time to give her a chance to talk to you, some of my followers, so you can get to know her a little bit better and know her aesthetic and the way that she designs, because I know that you guys will be just as big of fans of her as I am. So Lisa, welcome. Thank you so much for being here.
Hey, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here and to talk to you. I love working with you, Lauren. You are so happy and fun, and you bring this amazing energy that even comes through in your colorways. I love knitting with your yarn, and I love collaborating with you. So I'm really excited to be here.
Thank you so much. Tell us a little bit about your business. How did you get started? Where are you anyways? I mean, you've got all your shawls behind you, but
yeah, I just try to stick them here. So we are in Bloomington, Indiana. I grew up in Cincinnati. I went to school in Dayton, Ohio. And then that's where I met my husband. And then once we both graduated, we moved to West Virginia. He was getting his doctorate in economics at West Virginia University. And we had two boys while we were there. I was actually teaching first grade at the time. And then after he graduated, he got hired at Indiana University, which was an amazing position. It was really an exciting job right out of getting his doctorate. So he works for the School of Public and Environmental Affairs, or we call it SPIA. Although it recently has been renamed the O'Neill School. So that's where he works. And then that brought us to Indiana, and we've lived in Bloomington now for 14 years. We moved when my second son was 3 months old. It was crazy. And then we had two more boys while we were living here. So I got started with knitting when I was pregnant with my youngest. So it was 8 years ago. I got a Learn to Knit kit for Christmas. It had been on my Christmas list for many years, and that year someone actually got it for me. And I sat down January 2nd to learn to knit. And I had been a crocheter since I was little. My mom crocheted. I'd always grown up crocheting. And so I had, knowledge of some of the fiber arts, but there were so many things that knitting could do that you can't do in crochet. I was like, how do you make those little V's? I want, which I now know is stockinette. I was like, I want to make those. And so I just basically watched a bunch of YouTube videos until I saw someone holding their yarn, how I held mine for crochet, which led to me becoming a continental style knitter. And then I just became obsessed, and I was like, okay, I've done garter knit stitch, garter purl stitch. Now let's do stockinette. Done that. I just knit swatch after swatch. I'm like, okay, cables, you can't do those with crochet, or at least not the same way. How do I do that? Oh, that's easy. What's next? And I really learned it at that pace. By day 3, I had designed a little pair of cabled mitts that that I knit and wore. Not a pattern I ever wrote up. And then about a month in, I was at a mom's craft night. I had knit some baby sweaters and some baby socks. And I mean, I was like 7 months pregnant. And I was knitting my first pair of adult socks. And it was a highly variegated yarn and a very pattern heavy yarn, or like there were a lot of stitches. So it was a pretty complicated design and totally the wrong yarn choice for it, which I now know. And I met at this mom's night, Stephanie Lotvin, Telly Bean Knits.
Oh.
And we were talking, and she was so impressed that I had already knit so much in such a little amount of time. And I said, what do you do? She's like, oh, I design knitting patterns. I work with yarn companies and they send me beautiful yarn and then I design with it. And at that point, I think she had like 2 or 3 designs out there. But I was like, tell me more. I need to know all about this. And so we met the next day at the library with our toddlers and my baby. And she just told me all about what she knew, which was really limited at that time. She was very new to it. And then I was like, that's what I want to be doing. That is that's my dream that I did not know that I had. I just picked up knitting needles. She sent me her, she had an adult pattern, and I was actually knitting this adult sweater while I was in labor. There are pictures of me sitting in the hospital bed, knitting this sweater. And I knew I wanted to design something, at some point. I didn't really realize how soon it would be, because I wanted to knit just a simple striped vest for my boys that I could play with the colors, like use 5 different colors, but different thick and thin stripes, so that each kid had a totally different sweater, but they all coordinated, and it would be super cute for pictures. And
it was, because that's the first pattern that I ever knit of yours.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, amazing. Thank you. It's funny because now, like, if I went back to that pattern, there's so much I would change about it. I would add different shaping and whatever, but the way it's designed, it's a simple knit. It is designed to be simple, and it works out great. And I just learned through doing, I researched all sorts of different necklines and different techniques. And anytime I was knitting a stitch, I would search out like the most efficient way to do it. Like, how can I be more efficient? Why can't I knit faster? Because knitting takes significantly longer than crocheting. Crocheting, I could fly through a project. And one of my saving graces was, there was a Craftsy class called Saving Our Stitches with Ann Budd. And she showed about how you could drop down and fix whole cables with like using a double pointed needle and just all the different things. And I was like, wow, there needs to be like a public service announcement for knitters. Like, this is required watching for every knitter once you get into it. And I mean, at that point, then I was hooked. I loved it. And every spare minute was spent either like watching YouTube tutorial videos or checking out books from the library. I was like nursing a newborn and just taking in all the information. If I couldn't have needles in my hand, I was like reading or learning about it. And so when Christian was 3 months old, I put out my first pattern, which was the Band of Brothers sweater vest. And I had it and I was so worried about the sizing that, I knit one in 4 different sizes. So, because I had a kid in 4 different sizes, and then also put it into testing and tech editing and all of that. So
that's so cool. I did not know that was your first pattern. I love that. I've knit that so many times.
Really?
Yeah. A gift.
That's amazing.
And I'm like, this is a great pattern. And I've knit it I've made a few modifications, but it's the basics of awesomeness. Like, so, hey guys, if anybody's out there that needs a good cute little man vest, it's so cute and it fits great. Like, if you knit it a little bit longer, it lasts for a long time. So
that's awesome. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that.
Yeah, that's so cool. I didn't know that. It was kind of like, I didn't get into your knits, like all of your colorful stuff, until a little bit late when you started doing it, I think.
Yeah.
Like right in the same time period, probably when you were designing them, I probably listened to it because I followed you from the beginning, just finding that vest.
That's awesome. Yeah. So like about a month after that pattern was published, I went to Stephanie and I was like, I have this great idea. We need to do a year-long knit along of children's patterns, and I'll design the boy stuff and you design the girl stuff. Because she has, well, at that time she only had one girl. Now she has two girls. But I had all boys, and I was like, except for one season, let's switch because I want to knit something for girls. and so we actually did 2 years of this. The Child for All Seasons Mystery Knit Along is what we called it. And so you like committed to the year and you were going to get the whole pattern all at once, but you didn't know what it was until that season. And so then you got the pattern, and we did, you got a boy pattern, a girl pattern, and an accessory pattern for each season. And we did that for 2 years, but it was amazing because we really learned together, like, oh, I've learned this about testing, like this place is better to do our testing. And like this, program works great. Like she was like, we have to use InDesign to structure our patterns. So you're going to have to learn it. And so am I. And, then we both set out about learning how to use InDesign, and she had more experience with like Illustrator to do schematics. So actually she did all the schematics for us, but eventually I learned how to do those. We really like worked well learning from one another. And then, at some point we decided, like, I really want to be doing this. She really wants to be doing this. And so we've always grown our businesses parallel to one another, but also completely different. And she's still like my number one person for like, if I need an opinion about anything knit design related. We talk marketing strategies, we talk everything, and it's fantastic. So
yeah, you guys are both like prolific designers, and like just amazing construction, the way that you write your pattern. Both of you have like slightly different ways of writing things. But both of you guys are so clever on the way that you design and write things out that it blows my mind. I don't knit a lot of patterns. Like it's impossible. Like there's no way, like a bajillion hour work week and then also knitting. But I read a lot of patterns, and I am fascinated when you guys send me something new. You're like, hey, I've got this new thing coming out. I'm like, let me read that. Because it's so cool to see how you've changed over the years. Things that you've written in one way changes over the years, how you've designed and how you write it to be clear. I mean, it's a treasure to the knitting community, I think, to have a designer like yourself who is really conscious of the knitter and their experience. And I don't think that you know that. I don't know if you know that, but you have to know this, that you're bringing that to everybody. You're not only bringing a design, you're not only bringing beautiful colors to everybody, but you're also bringing techniques and knowledge and love and joy out of it too. So you should totally like high five. That's awesome, because I love it when I see new stuff from you. And I know that our followers do too. So that's so cool. I did not know that whole background. I didn't even know how tight you guys were. I knew you guys were friends, but like you're super tight. That's awesome.
Yeah, well, it's funny. We used to live about 5 minutes apart. We actually both bought houses this year within like a week of each other. and sold our houses within a week of each other. And she moved closer to town. I moved further from town. So we're not quite as close as we were. She bought a fixer-upper. I bought one that was good to go. So we're very different people, but like, I mean, even if we go months without talking, because we have completely different schedules. She's an early bird. She gets up at like 4:30 in the morning. I'm more likely to stay up till 4:30 in the morning. And, but yeah, she's definitely still my person when it comes to design things.
So cool.
So, yeah,
that is so cool.
And I appreciate you saying that about the patterns too. The experience is very much something that I take into account when I'm designing. I want it to be a good experience. So any new technique that I'm doing, if it's too fussy and it doesn't look spectacular, then I nix it. Like I have to. Now there are times where I do stitches that I may not love doing, but a small amount of work with a maximum amount of impact is totally worth it. And so it's always a balance. When I was designing the mystery wrap for this year, and I won't give any spoilers about it, but I had this idea and I had it all sketched out and I started knitting it, but it would mean only using a few colors for the first few clues. And the design uses 7 colors. I was like, no, it's not fun. Like you want to use every color within the first 2 clues. You've got to see those colors. And I ripped it out and started over because it's very much about the experience of everything as well. So
yeah. I know we have like a ton of people who are knitting that mystery knit along and you've done it a few years in a row. How many years in a row?
Yeah. This is the 3rd year. And so all the kits work for all of the designs, which is fun. There's someone I know who's knitting with one of your garden variety kits, that gray with the like all the speckled yarns. And it's been so amazing to see it like take shape in this design. It's been so fun.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. Now, what is I have questions, like people in our community asked questions. Now I have to ask. Yeah. So what is your favorite aspect of designing? Like, is it the thinking? Is it the sketching? Is it the knitting? What is it?
Oh my gosh, that is a tough call. Okay. So I think my favorite aspect of designing is seeing the results of what someone knits with my pattern. Like, and that is fantastic. If you like, if you, like using the hashtags, look through Instagram or go on Ravelry and see like the mystery designs, especially, are just so rewarding to see how these wraps take shape in all different color combinations and how each one is like so unique to the individual that knits it. And I do spend a lot of time with the mystery knits in particular, helping people order their colors. Like I know a lot of times the dyers do it for you. But if people are struggling with how to order them, I'm like, do this, try this. And then seeing it actually knit has just been like amazing. It's so fun to see that.
That's fun. Yeah, you kind of like see your little babies out in the wild. And you're like,
I know. It really is. That is definitely the best part of designing. And then, I mean, there's just so many aspects. The knitting part is such a small part of what we do that I don't think people realize. That's probably my second favorite part is the knitting, but it really is like just not as prevalent.
Yeah. Because I mean, you're spending more time preparing the pattern and then getting test knitters and then getting more people to knit and then doing the promotions and updating your website and Ravelry and like all that stuff. Like, yeah, I think you're right. I think people assume that creative businesses are like, oh my gosh, it's 100% creative, and that the creative part is like this much of the whole thing.
Yes, exactly. Totally.
Yeah. So what is it about designing that got you? Because you said when you were talking about like, what is it about design that you're like, that was the dream that I had that I didn't even know I had? Like, what made that for you?
So one interesting thing is that my maiden name is Stricker, which is actually German for knitter. And so there was a point with the knitting that I just felt like it was in my blood. Like I felt like I had this connection to it that doesn't make sense any other way, you know? But really it's this, it started like back when I did children's works. I don't really design children's things anymore. It started as like, why isn't there a hoodie sweater with a cable up the front that splits and goes around the hood? Like, how does that not exist? That needs to exist. Okay, I'll design it. Like, why isn't there just a simple sweater vest that every boy can wear a different combination of colors? I'm on it. Like, that is how that started. But then, like, as it's shifted, so in more recent years, socks and shawls have become my focus. And for me, it's just about playing with color and stitch patterns and doing them, like putting them together in ways that people don't always think of, but then like being clever with it and then having people see that and try it. And that like aha moment is another like really exciting thing for me as a designer when they like get what I'm doing. That was especially fun with the mystery cowl that I did in the spring, the Brighten Up cowl, where clue 3, I usually when I do tutorial videos, you just see my hands, and it's because of the light box, and it's because I don't look like this most of the time. And for that one, I was like, okay, no, they need me to talk to them and tell them this isn't going to make any sense. And it's part of the mystery, and you have to trust me. And so I did like a talk you through. It's going to be okay. I get that this is crazy. And then like the magic of when it happened, it was so exciting to see that.
Yeah, I had people email me about that clue. So they're like
that they were confused.
No, that they're
okay.
Like, oh, should I trust Lisa? I'm like, yes, trust her. She knows what she's doing. and I don't know, you know, like you didn't give me the stuff. Sometimes you do. Sometimes you let me see stuff in advance. And that one you didn't. And I was like, I don't know what it looks like, but yes, I have 100% confidence in Lisa that this is going to be so cool. So yeah, you don't even know, like, you don't know. I'm sure you get emails about me too, but like, you know, you're like, you don't know that these people are going to email you and be like, so this designer is doing this. Is that cool? Like in a pattern? I'm like, yes, it's very cool.
Trust it. Trust it. It's going to happen.
So cool. You're going to love it. Do it. And then when I do get to see previews, I'm like, I can't tell you anything, but you have to knit it. You have to knit it.
Well, that one's a fun one. And even if you see it, because I still get emails from people who know what it looks like. And they're like, this can't be right. I'm like, it's right. Trust me. Like there are literally hundreds of projects that show that it's right. It's okay.
I can't believe you still get emails. That's actually really funny. Guys, trust her.
Yes. Yeah.
So what can we expect from you in 2023? You have anything up your sleeves that's going on in the next couple?
Well, I do have an idea for a spring sock spectacular. Yes, I am excited. I'm going to be pulling out all my old designs and having all kinds of prizes, and it's going to be different than my regular sock collections. And right now it's a whole jumble of excited ideas, but I promise it's going to be amazing. And the best way to stay in touch is to sign up for my newsletter. So I'll give Lauren a link to that, but yes. Yeah. And anyway, so that will be coming. And I've got some new shawl designs planned. I'm hoping to do another mystery cowl. I'm planning to do another mystery wrap in usually start at the beginning of September. So I'm planning to do another one of those with the same kind of kit put up because that has been really popular. It's actually the new design has brought a lot more interest to my first two, which are Garden Variety and Just Beachy. Yeah. And there was actually a lot of requests from my knitters to create a chatter thread just for those. So there are lots of people knitting the older designs, which is so fun. And that I'm sure is going to continue because it takes a while to knit these wraps, although the way people are churning them out is really impressive.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, dude, you're keeping up with the clues. It's so crazy.
I know.
Like forget about it.
Yeah. So, and I've got, I'm hoping to do some work with some heavier weight yarns. So I kind of pigeonholed myself into fingering weight yarn by limiting myself to socks and shawls. But I've got ideas for some hat and mitten combos that'll be in DK or worsted. And I'd love to design a DK weight shawl. I think that would be so fun. I've heard you mention that you have DK minis, and I
have DK minis.
Really excited about the possibilities. My head is swimming with all of the ideas. So I am also trying to take a step back at the moment and sort of give myself a break from the rigorous design schedule I have scheduled for myself, so that I can give a chance for that creativity to come back and with renewed vigor, I suppose.
Yeah, that's awesome. That is so cool. I think that we're all of us, I can speak for the Lolo community, right? Yeah, I can speak for them. That we will be with you with whatever knit along that you want to do. And the sock extravaganza in the spring sounds fabulous. So I'm down. Like, write me down for some prizes. We're gonna do it because everybody's gonna have fun with that. So I cannot wait. And I'm totally sending you DK minis. Like, you just brought it up. Yes. I'm like,
yes,
hey,
I can't resist it. Once it's in my hands, I can't do anything about it. The design just comes.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, and all of us like take breaks and mojos and get our creative juices flowing. I know I do. I mean, and the people who are in our community, the people who are probably watching this know that, I kind of go in peaks and waves of stuff because you just like designs, I can't come up with colorways like every single day. It's impossible. And so I love hearing that you have some new stuff on the horizon and have some renewed mojo and things like that going on. That's so cool. Yes. All of us want stuff to knit from you, and we're so excited about it. So I really appreciate you having this platform, having your designs and doing them, because you're one of those designers that I saw your stuff and it inspired me to do more things. It's so cool to watch you and how you put together color and how you put together texture. It's extremely inspiring to me, and I know to a lot of other people. So I have to thank you for it because you keep my mojo going.
Thank you. That's amazing. I'm really glad to hear that.
Yeah, so we'll keep an eye out. I'm going to put all of this information. Are there any other things that you want to tell our followers that they should know about you, like where to find you or anything?
So I can send you all of my links for Ravelry, Facebook, Instagram. Oh, sorry, they're cutting the grass nearby. I hope that
newsletter.
Yes, the newsletter is the best way to get updates on all the newest stuff. And I never spam your inbox. I only let you know when there's important stuff like a new pattern or a good sale. I love doing great sales. If you've followed me, then you know I like to, I give away a few free patterns a year, but it's free for a day. So like subscribe to my newsletter so you get notified. And then I do a lot of deep discounts, 40, 50, 60, sometimes even 70% off. I've done patterns like for $1. But my goal is to get everyone knitting my designs, get my patterns into your hands. I like to be able to do that regardless of your financial situation, which is why I feel blessed that I can reward my followers in that way, doing these free patterns or deeply discounted patterns, and give you a little more money to spend on some Lolodidit yarn.
Awesome. Good. Well, thank you so much for joining me, Lisa. I love this. I'm so thankful for your time. I know you're a busy woman. So thank you for that. And I cannot wait to see the next thing you've got. We're totally doing a knit along. And so everybody, make sure you subscribe to all of her stuff that's linked below. So thank you all so much. Give us a thumbs up and subscribe. So thank you guys. We'll see you later.
Bye.